All right, here in G5, my hint was to use a placeholder. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to space out this problem. 9x to the fourth and minus 121 to the fourth power. And the placeholder is going to be something here in the middle. And it tells us to use a b equals 0. So I'm going to put in a 0 here. But the question is, what's the variable? Well, you have an x and you have a y, so we're just going to write xy. And it's okay if you put a plus or a minus. Okay? All right. So in this problem, I'm just going to go through my Xbox method of factoring. Why does the Xbox method of factoring work here? Remember, half of 4 is really, I forgot, I have to have a 2 here and a 2 here. Half of 4 is 2, and half of this 4 is also a 2. And because you have a trinomial, you can use Xbox method of factoring. So let's put this up here. But before we do that, we're going to have to get our A, B's, and C's. Let's go ahead and do that. So my A value is 9. My B value is 0. And my C value is negative 121. Okay? A times C, I'm just going to put in my calculator. 9 times 121. It gives you a negative 1089. Big number. And our B value is 0. Remember, with that placeholder, these two numbers in these square boxes have to add up to be 0. So they're going to be the same exact number, just one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my calculator the square root of 1089. And it gave us 33. So if I multiply 33 times negative 33, that gives me the negative 1089. But when I add those two numbers together, it gives me the 0. So now I'm just going to put them in my box. Remember, those two numbers always go in the bottom left and top right. And look what we split. Remember, we were splitting the x squared, y squared. All right, top left will always be the first term. And the bottom right will always be the last term. All right, let's go ahead and get some numbers here. What is the GCF going across this way? I see a 3x and a squared. And that'll be the same thing going in this direction, 3x and a squared. Going in this direction, going up, I see a negative. It's going to be an 11, because remember, you can multiply 3 times negative 11, give you the negative 33. And I notice that they have a y squared in common. And this is going to be the same exact thing, but it's going to be positive. Remember, you can always multiply to check your answer. In the white there, 3x squared times 3x squared gives you 9x to the fourth in yellow. And then the light blue, negative 11y squared times a positive 11y squared will give you a negative 121y to the fourth there in yellow. So let's go ahead and write those as our answers. This one and this one. Does not matter which order, but and let's box that as our answer. Okay, here is our answer. And again, this, I'm going to show you guys my trick, but again, it only works for the difference of square problems. How do you know if it's a difference of square problems? I will show you. No, did it again. Always do that. If you could take the square root of both of them and they have a negative sign here, this works. So now I'm showing you a different way of getting the answer. The square root of 9x to the fourth is 3x squared and 3x squared. The square root of 121y to the fourth is 11y squared. and then you just have 1 plus 1 minus, and that's another way of getting the answer. So two methods, Xbox method or just taking the square root of both of those.